What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Toronto Blue Jays franchise and MLB 16 The Show. And OSFM rosters dropped yesterday afternoon or evening, sometime yesterday, and I was able to put my hands on them and start the franchise once again. And so I'm not going to show all of the simulation because I stopped for scouting and not a whole lot honestly happened. There's just a couple things to go over. One, I was looking over the OSFM roster and noticed there was a duplicate of Chris Colabello. And so I aged him so he would retire. I dropped all of his ratings, as you will probably see in the background once I speed up this video clip. And I named him not Chris Colabello, so I didn't think that he retired or anything. And basically, I'm going to act as if it was not a blunder on the roster. I'm going to try and let somebody know, like whoever worked on the rosters. I'm going to put a forum out on Operation Sports or a thread out on Operation Sports to let them know about this error. And the other thing that happened during the simulation was Edwin Encarnacion hit the DL, and he would be out for 2 months, I believe. It would be from around, let's see, I can actually pull it up right now. So the game that we are going to play in this episode is in June, and he's coming off the DL just after the game that we played about a couple weeks. So he was about 2 months from like April to June. So that pretty much wraps it up. Alright, so let's get into the meat of this episode. So before we get into a game, we went through the draft already, as it was my main focus. I wanted to play a game right after the draft, and you'll see the reason why later on in the episode. But we had an excellent draft class. Our first 6 picks were all B potentials or better, and we got a couple. We got a left-handed bat in there too. It's something that our organization really needs. But you're gonna see a sped-up clip in the background of me signing all of these guys to 1-year deals, and these guys look like they can be studs or at least good trade pieces for the future, especially the starter, because I don't know really how far he would. I don't know. It's going to depend on progression for all of these guys, but we'll see how they shape up in our organization as the series goes on. But now we'll get into this episode against the Boston Red Sox and David Price, the former Blue Jay. So let's get into it. The Blue Jays sit with the best record in baseball at 39-16, and the Boston Red Sox are third place in the AL East at 31-24. So let's get this thing started. Second inning, and Justin Smoke is up to bat, and he is smoking one out over the monster. That one is going to be gone, and it will give the Blue Jays an early 1-0 lead, but Russell Martin would have something to say about that, and he would take one of his own over the Green Monster, and the Blue Jays are out to a quick 2-0 lead off of back-to-back home runs from Justin Smoke and Russell Martin. But the Blue Jays offense was not going to rest there, as they normally don't anyway, and Troy Tulowitzki is going to take one out into the right field bullpen. That one is gone, so it's 3-0 on 3 solo home runs for Toronto, but David Price would not be able to stop the bleeding as his defense gives up on him. Kevin Pillar going to single this one into the middle off of an error. A throwing error by Xander Bogaerts over to first base Hanley Ramirez, and then the very next play, that is going to be a double off the wall by Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson only got a single out of it, but Kevin Pillar was fast enough to get over to third, and the base running controls were also fast enough to get him over to third. And then Jose Bautista kissed that one goodbye over the Green Monster and gone. 6-0 lead for Toronto over Boston, as they are crushing their former teammate, showing their disrespect toward him leaving the organization. And that is career home run number 298 for Jose Bautista. And now Justin Smoke is up to bat, and he is going to take one down the line. Hanley Ramirez dives at it but cannot do anything. It's going to be fielded by Rusney Castillo out in right field and thrown into the infield. And then Chris Colabello would put the icing on the cake. That one's gone. 8-0 lead. Price would be pulled after that home run by Chris Colabello. 8 runs, 5 earned, obviously, because that Jose Bautista 3-run homer was not earned runs. But he would get smoked in, I believe it was 2 2/3 innings pitch. A ground rule double right here for JBJ, and he is going to be over to third on the next play, and Bogaerts would single him home in a couple at-bats later. And so that is going to get Boston on the board. It is just a 7-run game now. Later on, Rusney Castillo is going to double off the wall, and that is going to bring a runner home. I don't know who that was exactly, but he is going to score on that play, and that is 8-2 for Boston now, and this is going to be David Ortiz singling down the line, and that is going to go into the right field corner. Sorry, that's not David Ortiz, that's Pablo Sandoval, and that is going to put a runner on for Rusney Castillo, who is going to get a ground rule double of his own right here after JBJ had one earlier in the game. And now Blake Swihart, he is going to lash one out into right field, and that makes it an 8-4 game in favor of Toronto still. But bad inning by Stroman. Probably should have been taken out earlier in the inning. That was my own fault. But that wouldn't quite be it, as the game would still go. Josh Donaldson taking one over the Green Monster, and that is five home runs hit? Is it 6 home runs hit by Toronto today? 5 or 6, one of those two totals. But Big Papi would have something to say about that, and he would take one of his own out around the pesky pole and gone. But that would be it for the scoring. It calmed down relatively quickly in the later innings of the game, as that would be the final score, 9-5 right here, as David Ortiz would pop up, and that is going to be thrown to first. Blue Jays win 9-5. It would not be a Red Sox game, of course, though, without a Big Papi home run, because it seems like every time I play against the Red Sox, he hits a home run off me. But he had to get one in late there. Didn't matter. His team got crushed. David Price, 2 2/3 innings, 5 earned runs. He did strike out 5 of the first 6 batters, so there is some merit in that. But he has had a very rough season, and he continues it right there. So take a look at the stats on your way out. I will see you next time. I don't know what game we're going to be playing yet, but it will be a little bit later in the season, obviously. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy. See you then.
For the Red Sox, 5 runs on 11 hits, 1 error. They left 8 runners on base. The winning pitcher is Marcus Stroman. His record is now 6-1. The loss goes to David Price. He falls to 6